Okay then. Well, Sabrina, welcome. You're speaking with myself from Black Economics, and we're going to find out a little bit more about you and see if we can use you to motivate others.
Sure.
Even as you motivate yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about your early life, your childhood dreams. What did you want to do as you were growing up, and have you achieved those?
Okay, so no is the answer. I haven't achieved them because I wanted to be an actress for a long time when I was younger. And then as I got to secondary school, I shifted. I was like, okay, maybe not. Like, it just didn't seem like the thing to do because it's quite a creative industry and we're kind of more directed to academics. So I decided that I was going to be a lawyer. And then when I got to about 15, I decided that being a lawyer would mean having to sacrifice family life. So I decided that I would be a legal secretary instead, eventually anyway. When I got to about 16, 17, I was like, okay, I'll be a secretary. And that will allow me to still be in the legal industry, but have a family. I always knew I wanted to have a family. So I guess in a way I've achieved the second one because I did become a legal secretary and I was one for about 11, 12 years, but I didn't become an actress. So yeah.
Okay. Any regrets, or are you pleased with your decision?
No, I try not to have regrets because I don't think they're helpful. I think at the end of the day, the decisions and the choices we make in the times that we make them are the best for what the information that we have. And so being a legal secretary was the best decision in that time. And as an actress, I think now with everything I know about that industry anyway, like I know people are successful and stuff, but for the type of person I am, I don't think that would have worked for me. So yeah, I'm happy with my decision.
Okay. And just to say, by the way, if you still want to be an actress, you know, the world is still your oyster. You can always pursue that part-time if that's what you wanted to do. You never know.
I totally agree with you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
You just need to register with some of those online portals and you never know what might happen.
Yeah, little bits. I could do little roles and stuff and then...
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Or talk to a few agencies. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me about what you are proud about now and grateful for in your life.
Oh, I think knowing what I've gone through and how many different paths I could have taken, I'm just really grateful that I had, whether it was from within or whether it was the support that I had around me to help me, direct me, support me, the ability to overcome and be here today. I'm proud of the fact that I have, you know, managed to, I raise my boys, I'm still working, I am able to still have my dreams. Like I haven't completely said, oh, you know, I'm a mum now, so I can't do anything else. I just have to be a mum. Like that's not how my mind works. So I guess I'm proud and grateful for the fact that I have the mind that I have, to be fair. Like, I don't know if that sounds weird, but yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things, and not allowing circumstances or situations to have completely changed me. Obviously they've affected me, but not to change the essence of who I am, to still be able to be myself.
What kind of things have you experienced in your low points that has made you who you are today?
So I'm the second child of, my mum had 4 children and my dad had 7 altogether, including me and my siblings. So being the second oldest of my mum's 4 meant that she was a single parent from as long as I could remember, from when we were young. And so she decided when we were about 10 or 11 that she was going to purchase her home. She had a council property, she was going to purchase it, and single-handedly did that. She, you know, managed to keep paying the bills, giving us what we needed. There was 4 of us at the time by then. Give us what we still needed and save the deposit to purchase the home. Like, that is a big feat for one lady. And what happened was me and my older brother ended up having to help her. Like, she didn't have a lot of help around. So we kind of stepped in to help her with our little brother and sister. And so that did shape me a lot. It was a big responsibility to have at such a young age, you know, growing up as a teenager and stuff like that. And so that definitely, I was always naturally nurturing and caring. That is like my, like, you know, natural part of my personality. But the additional responsibility, as much as it had an impact later on in life, it actually has allowed me to have a certain level of, I don't know what the word is. Going forward, it's just it's ingrained something in me that means when it comes to being responsible and getting things done, I can do that. So as much as in one hand it is like, oh my God, I had all this responsibility, on the other hand, it's like, actually, it taught you something that you've now been able to carry forward as an adult. Mm-hmm. So I think with everything, there's always like there's 2 sides to everything, isn't it? There's always like a positive and a negative. It's just which one you choose to dwell on. Yeah. So in that, and I was in a relationship from very young, and that shaped me a lot because I grew within that relationship. I was a teenage mum. I became a mum at 19. And so all of those experiences as well shaped me hugely. And I was having a conversation recently about, like, would I do anything differently? And we can always say yes to that. But if I did do things differently, then I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'd have to say no to that. But obviously I would love to have been someone who had like boundaries and, you know, knew all of these things about being in a relationship, like not just what I thought one should be.
You sound so cute. You gotta get him to say hello. Oh my goodness! Look.
Say hi, Kai. Say hello.
Oh, he's so lovely. Oh, what's his name?
Cairo.
Huh?
Cairo.
Cairo. Oh.
Cairo. Yeah, but with a K.
Oh, nice. Oh, children are lovely, aren't they? How old's your 2 boys you have?
4.
What, 4? Oh my Lord! How old are the others?
13, 8, 4, and 2.
Wow! Oh my goodness! Well, that's a blessing, I tell you.
Yeah, they are.
That's a real blessing. It's gonna be amazing when they're older, and you know you've got all these big men looking after you.
I know. It's so scary. Like, even just having like, my son literally just turned 13 like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, I still remember when he was born and how little he was and how much it was like, oh my God, like this is like a whole new chapter, journey opening up, and just how he's grown over the years. Like, it's almost like we've grown together, because motherhood, there's no manual. You think you know what you're doing, and then you realize you don't. Yeah. You're just figuring it out as you go along.
Yeah.
And so he is a product of me literally figuring it out. But I am like, he is. I'm very proud of him. He's make me choke. He's very intelligent. He has a great emotional awareness. He's been through a lot, you know, like just with life happening. And as much as like his personality, he's very, he's just very in tune and in touch with people. And he's just very sweet, very kind, very giving, generous. So yeah, he makes me proud. Very proud
Oh my goodness. Well, when he sees this and realizes he's making his mum cry, for lovely reasons, I must add,
yeah, he is
you know,
amazing.
he's going to feel really good, you know?
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, having boys as well is one of those things that us as Black parents, we're thinking about how we can keep them safe, aren't we? You know, especially
All
with
the
this Black
time.
Lives Matter protests and all the things that are happening with our young boys on the streets. What are your feelings about that?
That is such a, I find that topic as a whole, so there's so many parts to it for me. I can see it from so many different angles. Like, I'm a young mum. I had my son really young, but I was also quite mature. Like, I remember when I was 19, 20, and all my friends from secondary school, like we lost touch and then we got in touch again. And I was the only one that had, I was renting a place. I had my own car. I had a job. They were still in uni. Most were still living at home, if not all. And I had a child. Like, that was a major responsibility in itself. And I remember having this pull between trying to still be a 20-year-old, like my friends, and trying to be a parent and be responsible. So I know that not everybody can, I don't want to say make the right choice, but choose for the child, because their needs will sometimes outweigh that. So their need to just want to still be a young person over being a young parent can outweigh, and then that then has a rolling effect on the child, because from the ages of, I think it's 0 to 7, they're just absorbing. They don't have their own mind. They're just absorbing everything. And so everything that's happening around them, if there are no boundaries, if there's no separation of you as your individual self and you as a parent, so you have all of these different people or influences around them growing up, that is how we then have children who at 10, 11 are acting like 13, 14, or are falling into, the wrong hands, because their minds now, because they haven't had the right development, or because they haven't had the right nurturing or security, are now susceptible to outside influences that don't benefit them. And also, if you are in need of love and support because you didn't have it growing up, having a child triggers that. Like, it becoming a parent normally triggers the way you were parented. So sometimes we can say, oh, I don't like how I was parented. My mum wasn't this and my dad wasn't that. So, when I become a parent, I'm going to be totally different. And that's amazing, because it's like, yes, you want to change and you want to do it differently. But sometimes what happens is you end up repeating the cycle, because maybe you haven't got the help to actually have tools in place to do things differently, or emotionally you're not aware enough, or I don't want to say strong, because it's not about strength, it's about it's like an ability thing. Emotional awareness, intelligence is really important. So we all have triggers, we all have things that happen to us that sometimes we deal with and sometimes we don't. And if we don't deal with it, along life, you'll have an experience and it will be super similar to what happened to you that you didn't deal with. However, because you didn't deal with it, when that thing happens, it's almost like your brain flips a switch and tells you it's the same thing. So then you start acting as if you were going through that same experience, because you haven't dealt with it. But it's not the same thing, but you're triggered in the same way anyway. You experience the same emotions. It's almost like it's like deja vu. It's like having a flashback, and you feel like you're there, but you're not. And so you're acting out in that way. Mm-hmm. And so bringing it back into how our children are encountering what they're encountering, it's because a lot of our parents have traumas that haven't been dealt with. And so when they become parents, a range of things happen. Some shut down, some are just, they just aren't able to separate who they, you know, their individual life from their life as a parent, and it becomes intertwined. And, you know, at the end of the day, children shouldn't be exposed to certain things. Children shouldn't have to hear certain things. They shouldn't see certain things. And if we are not protecting them in that way, when they go out in the street, they believe they're able to handle and see and do certain things because at home, that is what's going on. And so, as much as I don't blame parents, because it's not that simple. It's not just that simple to say, oh, you know, it starts in the home. Yes, it does start in the home, but you got to go a bit deeper. It starts in the home, but how is that parent? Is that parent emotionally, mentally, physically sound? Like, how healthy is that parent as a whole to be able to then raise that child properly, so that when it goes into the world, it can handle what is coming. Like, I have this conversation with my son all the time. Don't accept money from anybody. Don't accept gifts from anybody. Like, we have, and he says to me, Mum, I'm not stupid. And I'm like, I'm not saying you're stupid, but, you know, we're not in the greatest financial position. I don't ever want you to feel like, oh, because you want a new pair of trainers and I can't instantly get it for you, that you're just going to take it from someone. You know, someone's going to offer you some money for something what seems simple and not a big deal, but actually it's part of the grooming process of them now getting you to then do something worse. So we have those conversations, and so I feel like he's prepared, but at the end of the day, you just never know. You just never know. Never know.
What is he hoping to be when he becomes an adult?
See, he wanted to be a gamer when he was about 8. He's like, I want to be a gamer. Like, I love games. I like, you know, doing the reviews and stuff like that. I'm stuck between allowing him to pursue that, and also I'm not so much that parent that wants you to be academic. I've been through the academic system. I went to uni, so it's not like I'm saying it's not great. However, I do feel that he's quite a creative, as a naturally creative. So I would rather that he found something that allowed him to just naturally be who he is, and allowed him to make money. So if he could take whatever creative aspects of himself that, you know, he really enjoys and made a way to make money, whether it was entrepreneurship, whether it was a job. I wouldn't particularly like him. If he wanted to be employed, then hey, you know, great. But in terms of freedom and flexibility, knowing his type of personality, I do feel like he's going to have to get a job to understand what I mean. He's seen me and his dad work. He knows, you know, about time restrictions and all that stuff. But I think sometimes you have to experience something for yourself before you can truly say, okay, cool. Because at the moment, he's like, I'm going to get a job when I'm 16. And I'm like, okay. But he is naturally quite, if he wants to make some money, he will ask, okay, what can I do? Or he'll find something that he's not using and he will sell it on eBay and he'll get his money. So he's quite astute like that. He's very, very good. So in terms of, he hasn't really said, I definitely want to be this. Being a gamer is the last thing that he was like, yeah, that's something I want to do.
Well, there is money in gaming if he writes the games or if he works for a gaming company.
Exactly.
You know, he might want to look into how that's done. And even people who are playing the games, who appear in tournaments, they're winning money as well. So
yes,
it's an interesting field. It's a tech field, so I wouldn't sort of push him too far away from it, because at least when he's gaming, he's not out there causing trouble. But you said he's creative.
Yeah.
Creative in what way? Are we talking about art, music, or writing? What's he creative in?
Writing. He's written a few, like, he likes anime, so he started writing a few animes.
Really?
Yeah, he started writing an anime book.
Oh, really?
Done a few chapters. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah. And he likes music a lot. on both sides of the family, like music has just been, it's like in the blood. So he's very into music. He can, he's very into music in that sense. Yeah, the music sometimes that he listens to, I'm like, okay. But yeah, he's into music. But anime, that's like one of the big things, like creatively writing has been something that he's been doing for a couple of years now, on and on.
Well, that's very good. So all you need to do then is team up with someone who can draw the pictures, and then they can produce a book.
Exactly.
You know, you didn't have to wait till he's much older for that. So yeah, it'd be good. Well, I will follow up to make sure that he's published this book that he's doing.
He'll be like, Mum, why did you say that?
But that's good. That's good. I mean, you want our young people to be creators of products rather than only consumers of them, you know.
Very true.
So that's excellent.
Very true.
Okay, so what about your own aspirations then now? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you perhaps have started doing or you're planning to start doing?
Okay, so now my main big thing is security and freedom. I have been going in and out of employed, self-employed since 2008 now. And I've just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be employed anymore, because yes, there's a security in it, but the flexibility of it and the freedom aspect, the security doesn't outweigh that for me anymore. Like knowing I'm going to get paid a certain amount, it doesn't do it for me anymore. So I decided to take the skills that I've learned as a legal secretary, along the way, dipping in and out of different, trying to start businesses and going through different ventures, to start my own virtual assistance business, which specializes in proofreading and editing. So those are my like natural things, like they're easy for me to do. I love reading. So as I'm reading along, editing or proofreading, it's a natural thing. So why not combine that with helping businesses who need that service? So that's what I'm doing now. I soft launched it. I say soft launched it because it was like I got it all set up. I was really excited, and I was like, oh my God, I've actually got to tell people I'm doing this now. So I soft launched it. I've had my first client. I've literally just done some work for another one. I've teamed up with another VA, a good friend of mine who's a VA as well. She does different services. So we're basically combining our services and working together. And yeah, I'm just marketing myself in that aspect. So I can be at home with the boys, but I can also still earn money. I've still got my day job. And when my VA money overtakes that, I can finally say, okay, cool, I can let that go and just focus.
Very wise decision there. Very wise.
Oh, that's learned. Yeah, I've done the whole jumping into it, like, and then going, okay. Yeah. This wasn't very smart. So yeah.
Yes, I hear you. So who are your support pillars? Who are the people around you who influence you positively?
My mum is major support pillar for me, always has been. And as of late, we've been having more conversations about how we influence each other and how we support each other and mindset, and how doubt and the things that we think and feel influence how we show up. So when we say we're going to do something, that's all great in the moment, but sometimes we've got these negative beliefs and thoughts that are circling that we're not necessarily aware of, that start attacking us, which then decreases our self-confidence and esteem, and we start having all these doubts and stuff. So she is like my go-to person when I'm having one of those days. I'm like, is this just me, or is like, what is going on here? Like, do you understand? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I procrastinating so much when I know that if I get it done, number one, I'm going to be happy I got it done. I'm going to feel good about myself, and it's going to be done. And so she's the person who I really just, I bounce off of. We bounce off of each other, and she's an amazing. Stop it. amazing influence in my life. And I have a select handful of women as well who are in business or just like in careers. Sorry, Dave. Stop turning it up, please. We're nearly finished. Stop turning it up. Who have careers that they're passionate about, they love, and they've, you know, been doing things for a time. Maybe they're mums, some are mums as well. I've got a couple that aren't mums. And so we just have this relationship. It's not an everyday thing, but it's a case of sometimes, you know, one, I'll reach out to them or they'll reach out to me. More time they reach out to me. I'm a bit of a hermit sometimes, like I'm just in my own little world, but I'm always available. If I have capacity, I'm always available for my loved ones. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how are you doing? Mm-hmm. And sometimes when people say, how are you doing? We're quick to say, oh, I'm fine, you know, I'm okay. And I've learned to actually say what's real. I'm okay, but actually this week, or I'm okay, but, you know, so I'm still saying I'm okay because I feel like generally I am okay, but there are things that have affected me this week, or I am having this thought and, you know, maybe it's actually not very healthy or it's not helpful to what I'm trying to do right now. So let me speak about it and let me, you know, bounce off of someone who I know has my best interests at heart, who loves me, who wants to see me do well, and may be able to advise me or just listen, or just tell me that thought is nonsense, so drop it, you know. So yeah.
Well, it is important to remind people that we don't have up days all the time. There will be times when you're feeling low or insecure.
100%.
And it's really important to have, you know, one or two people around you who can, you know, be a listening ear. They might not always have the answer, but sometimes even just a listening ear is helpful.
And because even whilst you're talking, sometimes the answer comes to you. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like clarity, because when you're just letting something go around and around and around in your head, there's no outlet. It's just going around and around in your head. But as you start to speak about something, and it's like a container, isn't it? As you release, you're able to, you can put more in. If you release something, then there's room to put more in. So if you release it, there's room for the inspiration or the answer to be delivered to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you have some dreams around property as well, don't you?
Yes, I do. Oh, property. It's such an interesting field, and it has been such a journey so far. But I'm really, really excited because I think it's, as the time goes on, I think it will be more evident how the VA business and the property business and the way I've started one will then flow into the other. Business for me has been a journey because there's so many aspects to it. When you go to work, somebody tells you what to do and you just do it and you get paid at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. Business is, you are the CEO, you are the employee.
Yeah,
you've got to figure out.
Washer, yep.
Literally, you're everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're winging it and you don't know, like you don't have any support or a mentor, you're winging it and it's very difficult. And then if your mindset isn't right, that's a whole nother story. So I found in property, property is something that me and my mum started learning about together back in 2013. And we both started education, like higher education at the same time as trying to start this property business. Now, anybody who knows about property knows like it is not an easy road. There are elements to it. There's obviously legislation that you have to know about. There's so many aspects to it. And money as well is a thing. Like bricks and mortar is not, you can't go down the shop and, you know, hand over a cat. Well, saying that there are options, but anyway, let's not go into the jargon of what can be done in property. But essentially what I've decided to do now is work with investors that need to build a portfolio or need to build an income, whether it's for pension, whether it's for now, because everybody needs an additional income or needs to start thinking about security for later on. So not only does that allow me to help them, but it allows me to build my experience. It allows me to pursue my passion. It allows me to encompass the fact that I love helping people and do it in an area that I've got, like, there's aspects that obviously I'm not so fond of, but my mum is. So it's like together we'll be able to say, okay, that's your strength, that's your not so great strength, and you do that and I do that. And
okay. So if there are any investors out there who want to invest in property, contact Sabrina.
Yeah, because that way we can figure out what it is you actually want. Like, knowing what you want, I've got like a questionnaire so you can really think about what it is you want out of it. It's not just, oh yeah, I'm just going to throw money here. No, you actually want to think, okay, whether it's a long-term thing or a short-term thing. And also knowing that patience is very key. I have the tendency to be very impatient. Like, I'm part of the microwave society of instant gratification, like put it in the microwave, get it now. And property is nothing like that. Learning, yeah,
you got to wait weeks, months, sometimes years.
Yes, exactly, for something to go through. It's very, very true. And so knowing that if you enter with that mindset of knowing it's not an instant thing, I feel like it will work out better, because then you're able to stay the distance, like persevere. You know, I've taken breaks away from, I've done the education and then I've started doing things and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting results, so this isn't working. But one thing that's really been coming up lately is you can't just be like, it's not working because after 3 weeks of calling people or, you know, putting a whole deal together and it being stolen because you didn't put in, I've had that happen. You didn't do your due diligence on the person, or you didn't put an NDA in, or, you know, you didn't have the right contract in place so that when you sent over all the work that you put together, it didn't get hijacked. They didn't just cut you out and then go and do it themselves.
Oh, I hear you. That's happened to me a few times. You
know?
You plan to work with somebody, you produce a business plan. Next minute they've gone up and done it all by themselves. They don't need you.
And it's like,
oh yeah, be careful with that, I tell you.
Because you would never think of doing that. But what you have to realize in business is you cannot operate on how you operate.
So we got to be careful who we talk to and who we trust, basically.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so you've told me about 2 business areas that you're dealing with, the virtual assistant business. So soon from now you'll be employing other people to work with you, I presume. Yeah, that's the plan. Because you're going to do it all yourself.
Right. I'm not trying to do it all. I'm not a superwoman. I'm not a superhero.
And then you're also helping people in terms of property investment for people who have money and they want advice, or you will find the property for them, or you will help them with all aspects of property. So there's 2 areas. We will put your details at the bottom of the video so people can contact you directly.
Thank you.
And hopefully you get some business out of this, you know.
That would be great, yeah.
So how do you motivate other people? So anyone who's watching now, how would you want to motivate them?
I tend to, what I've been doing for the last, say, five years is when I have a thought or I've gone through something and I feel like I can use that to inspire someone else or to just share how I went through it, I do like little video posts, or I'll do written posts on Facebook or Instagram. And when it comes, like right now, what I would say to somebody watching is, if you have a vision for something and it is pulling you, like it keeps coming to you, or you know, you just get really excited about it, but you don't know how to do it, or you don't know how it's going to come about, do not feel discouraged by that. I would say, or what I did was, I said, okay, initially I had the idea for the VA business 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I was in a relationship. I only had 2 children, and it was like, I can do this. I set up a Facebook page. I bought the website domain. And then I was like, okay, how do I get clients? Because initially back then, I wanted to do it for law firms, because I was a legal secretary. I said, I want to work from home. Like, I don't want to be going into an office. I don't want to be tied to hours. So how can I offer the, transcription, proofreading to firms? And I didn't know how to market myself. I scared of sales, like, oh my God, like sales just made me go, oh, just think of icky salesman, like just trying to push something on you. And so that was a mindset thing, but I wasn't aware that it was a mindset thing at the time. But then marketing is something you learn. If you're not in sales and marketing, it is something you have to learn. It's a whole new language and mindset on its own.
Well, yeah.
And so because I didn't know how I was going to achieve that, I kind of just said, okay, I'm going to park it for now, and I'm just going to continue to temp. And I was studying for a law degree at the time anyway. So I said, okay, I'm just going to park it for the minute. Maybe I'm trying to do too much, yada, yada, yada. When what I could have done is researched how to start a VA business, because people were telling you how to do it online back then, but I didn't know that. And I didn't really ask anybody. So asking for help is key. If you have a vision, and obviously be discerning about who you ask. Also be very mindful of who you tell your dreams to as well, because sometimes your dream or your vision can be really, really big. And compared to where you are now, like where you currently are is really, really big. And so people who aren't following their dreams, or who have been discouraged from following their dreams, are full of fear. And they don't mean to be negative. They don't mean to discourage you, but because of the place that they're operating from, they might say something to you. It's a protection thing, but it's out of fear. That then kind of is negative to what you're saying, and it is discouraging. And so it can put you off, because, especially if it's somebody you trust, if it's an elder, or, someone who you're really close to, and they not even intentionally wanting to put you off, but oh, you don't do that because blah blah blah. I had an experience where blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. And so be mindful about who you seek your help from. But also, I really feel like a level of belief is so important. Like, we all have doubts. We all have days where we think, I can't do this, or I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. But you really have to believe that you being here is no accident. You being here in this time is no accident. Like, the world has developed so much from like 50, 60 years ago. Like, the things that we have access to now, I know, because when I speak to elders, they say, you lot are so lucky, like so much easier for you. So what you're seeing, or what you're feeling, or what you're thinking is possible. You just have to harness and develop and nurture that belief in yourself, work on your mindset, I say surround. When I say surround, I don't mean you have to have loads of people around you, because it's about quality, not quantity. So even if it's just one other person who is very encouraging of what you're trying to do, who is able to, like we were saying earlier, just support you by listening, or, dropping a bit of advice, have that person. Sometimes you have to be that person for yourself before somebody else is attracted to you. Sometimes we have to be isolated in order to elevate. That's a big thing I've learned in life. Sometimes you have to just be by yourself to get yourself right before you can have the right people around you. This is a bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but essentially, if I go back over it, it's believe in yourself. So that means cultivating the right mindset. So it means listening to the right things, the right people, ask for help. Sometimes we don't always know the how. We don't have to know the how before we take the first step, but do ask for help if you need it. Figure out what you need and ask for help if you do. Mm-hmm. And quality, not quantity, when it comes to people as well. Sometimes it's really hard to let go of when you're focused, when you decide you're going to do something and you've got this vision for it, you can't continue to always do the same things that you've been doing. So that means that you have to then say, okay, I'm going to do things differently. So you're not going to have time for the things you used to have time for. And if your current circle doesn't understand that, they are going to say things like, oh, you think you're better than us now, or you've changed, or whatever it is that they're saying, if they're not pursuing something themselves. Do not allow that to stop you from doing what you're doing. It's gonna hurt. You know, we love people, we have bonds and stuff, but choose you. Doesn't have to be done nastily. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just make the conscious decision to say, okay, they've said that. I'm not going to take it personally, but this is what I want to do. So this is what I'm going to focus on. And you will attract the people who are doing the same thing, and it won't be a thing for you anymore.
Okay. All right. That's great. Yeah. All right, then. Well, I think we're going to close out this session now. Thank you so much, Sabrina.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing your life and your motivational statements are really good. I'm going to pick out some of them at the bottom as well.
Okay.
So what's the name of your VA business?
It's SS Virtuals. So on Facebook, on Instagram, it's SS Virtuals. And I literally just help content creators create flawless content. So that comes down to proofreading and editing in a nutshell.
All right, fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to your little boy. So
I will do.
Thanks for keeping us company.
I know. I was like,
put him on the camera. Let's say proper.
Yeah, 1 second, Cairo. Look, see, now it's over.
He's gone. Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
He's gone now that it's over. He was like, I'm not letting you do this interview without me.
All right. Okay. It's lovely meeting you.
Yes,
and we'll stay in touch.
Definitely.
See how things are going over time. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much.
You know. All right. Bye.
Right. Take care. Bye.
Warning.